it's Hailey, and today I am going to be matching my childhood photos with YA books. So today's video is sponsored by Penguin Teen in honor of the upcoming release of A Map of Days by Ransom. This is another novel set in the world of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, so we are once again entering the world of peculiars. I really loved the original books of the series, so I am very excited to be revisiting that world, and this time, instead of being in Wales, we are going to be in America again. So Jacob is returning to where the first book started, Florida, but this time all the peculiars are coming with him, so Miss Peregrine and crew are at his side. They end up all getting swept up in the world of American peculiardom, which is very different from everything that they are used to. This book is coming out on October 2nd, but it is available for pre-order now. I can't wait to read it. I can't believe I have an ARC. Hopefully my reading slump will stop soon so then I can actually read this. But this once again has the vintage photographs peppered throughout that we are used to with the previous books, but it says in the synopsis here that this time they are going to be in full color, which is really cool. So obviously today's video is inspired by the fact that the book contains photographs, because we are going to be going through my baby photos and all of that stuff and matching it with different books. I think this is such a fun video idea and I can't wait to do it, so let's dive in. So the first Hailey and Bookland baby photo that we have is me playing the drums. Brrr. Obviously I had a really bright future if I chose to be a drummer, but instead I decided to try my hand at being an author. I was well on the way to really knocking that drumming career out of the park, but I decided that I would leave that for other people. In reality, I'm literally just sitting in my babysitter's basement and they had a drum set, so that's probably the only time I sat with drums. But obviously this photograph goes perfectly with Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. The main character of this book, Leah Burke, is actually a drummer, so perfect. The next photograph is this really adorable one. I look so sweet and innocent in so many of these, and oh boy is it a lie, I was a terror of a child. I'm very much still like this, but even as a child, if anyone told me something to do, I would do the exact opposite because I didn't want to do what people told me. I distinctly remember there was like one day in JK or junior kindergarten where I didn't get a timeout, and that was like really celebrated because it was a big thing. I don't know what grade I'm going into in this photo or anything like that, but I just thought it was cute, so I picked a book that is set in high school, and it is once again a book by Becky Albertalli, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. I'm sure there's a lot more books that are set in high school on my shelves, but this was just the first one that stuck out to me because school is a really big setting in this story, so I felt like it was a good pairing. Next is this really sweet and adorable photo that just warms my heart. It is me laying next to my first cat that I ever had. His name was Snickle Fritz, and he hated me, but I loved him. He just wasn't the friendliest cat. He was a very solo boy, and I just didn't want that to be the case, so I would force him to love me, which was rude, but it didn't really work anyways. But for this one, I went with a book that heavily features animals. I couldn't really think of one that features cats, but I went with one that features dogs, which is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. This book focuses on a girl who ends up being a dog walker for a summer after all of her plans end up being upended, or uprooted rather. I felt like since animals were such a big part of this plot that it just made sense to match this photo to this book. Next is another photo that features an animal, and this time it is a horse. I've mentioned this in videos before, but I was that child who was absolutely diehard obsessed with horses. My room was horse themed. If I saw a horse, I would scream and lose my mind. And this happened very often because whenever we were going on field trips for school, we would often be going through the countryside and there would be horses. So I saw horses a lot, and every time all of my classmates knew I was gonna scream. That still basically happens with any animal because I love them all, but horses were like my pride and joy. I adored them. So I matched this photo with a book that features a horse prominently, and it does feature a horse in a really sad way. It did make me sad, but it does still match this pretty well, and that is The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. If you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about. Like the horse part just really hurts me, but at the same time, I feel like I would be remiss to pick any other book because the horse is a main part of the story. Next is this truly iconic photo of me chowing down on my first birthday cake. This could have been me eating cake 2 days ago as well. Some things never really do change. Now there's a couple ways I could have gone with this one. I could have gone with Matilda, but I decided to keep it to YA books, and I went with Heartless by Marissa Meyer. desire. I chose Heartless because baked goods and tarts specifically, but all of those different sweet indulgences are a key part of the story and Catherine's character. I also was just heartlessly tearing into that cake that my mother worked so hard at baking, so it felt appropriate. There are so many photo gems in here, this next one being one of those. This is a photo of me and my sister Taryn. She's the one who's closest in age to me, but I think this photo is just adorable and I love it so much. I think we're watching like Mouse Detective or something. I don't even really know, but it is so cute. So I decided to feature a book that heavily features sibling relationships in particular, and I went with Save the Date by Morgan Matson. I was going to go with Far From the Tree by Robin Benway, but those are siblings who have only just finally met each other, so I went with this one because I feel like it better fits the situation. This book features siblings that have all moved off and gone on with their lives, and it is taking place on the oldest sibling's wedding, and they all are coming together again, and it is just crazy mass chaos. I think the nostalgia of this story definitely fits with this photo, so I felt like they were a good pair. Next is another great photo. This one gives me a good giggle because I want to say I maybe was 7 or something. This was in the era of Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch had just come out and there was all this Elvis music. So I all of a sudden was like, Elvis Presley is my life. I was absolutely obsessed with Elvis. I don't even know how long this obsession went on. It was like I was Elvis, Elvis, everything, and then all of a sudden Elvis nothing. Literally for Christmas I was like getting Blue Hawaii, the movie. I had those Gonzo bracelets. I had a charm that was Elvis. Elvis was my life. I was like levels of fangirl that people are with One Direction for Elvis. So because I was such a fangirl, I decided to go with Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This just felt appropriate because I honestly feel like I would have probably dabbled in like Elvis fan fiction, not raunchy stuff, but I just loved Elvis so much, so like I was a definite Elvis fangirl. Next up we have this photo of my sisters and I when we were doing dance. This was at one of our recitals. I remember I loved that little outfit so much, and my mom would always be like, what do you want your hair to be for the dance recital? And I was like, a ponytail right here. So that is what I got, and it's just, this photo is so cute. I feel like we all look so innocent and like we don't bite each other's heads off constantly because I'm a little brat. But because we are the 3 dancing sisters, I decided to go with Entwined by Heather Dixon, which is a retelling of the 12 dancing princesses. I did dance for a very long time, and this is a book all about dancing and princesses, and I definitely thought I was a little princess, so I felt like we had a good match here. This next photo, I really tried really hard to figure out a way to get it in this video because it's one of my favorite things I ever did as a child. So I just decided to I would do a little stretch here, and this is the photo of me and Halloween. I don't know what year it is, sometime in the 90s, but I was dressed up as a Hershey's Kiss. My mom actually made this costume, and I can't. I think it's the funniest thing ever. I couldn't find it, but there's like a photo somewhere of like I was in kindergarten and they had a meter stick with like a marshmallow on it, and like I'm literally dressed up as a Hershey Kiss, just like like trying to get this marshmallow. Truly iconic. So since this is a Halloween photo, I decided to go with The Diviners by Liv Bray because this is a very like Halloween-y book. I couldn't really think of any books that were actually set at Halloween. I guess Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda has a Halloween scene in it, so that could have worked, but I had already used that, so I just went with this. I really just wanted to include that photo because it is like great. And the final photo that we have is what I believe is my 2nd grade school picture, and it is great. Look at those pigtails. The one is so like calm and just like yes. The other one is more representative of my personality because it is just like wild and woo, what is happening? But because I feel like this is just such a cute and innocent and really false photo, like it's entirely no, that is not me, I decided to go with Beauty Queens by Liv Bray because this is just a fun, I guess not really cute, but it is a fun read with lots of commentary on different things, and I just felt like fun, you know, the fun stuff of the match. Yep, that was a good explanation, but I don't know. This was once again just a photo I thought was cute. So those are all the photos I'm going to be matching with books today. Thank you guys so much for taking this trip down memory lane with me. Oh, the nostalgia of me looking like a cute and innocent child, but definitely not actually being like that. But thank you very much to Penguin Teen for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to go and check out A Map of Days by Ransom, which will be in stores October 2nd, but you can pre-order it now. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to click click that subscribe button and then click that little bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my links and handles and all of that good stuff will be down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!